Hi everyone, and thank you for coming back to my channel. Welcome everyone. So I want to share this story with you guys here because we talk about the victimization of white people that that they assign to themselves. They really see themselves as being victims of something. Now they want to say they're victims of reverse racism. You'll hear that term a lot. And a new term, they're victims of race baiting. That's Black people baiting them into conversations about race, and they really feel like they need to be victims, and it's a way of taking the attention off the psychopathic behavior that they I don't know, that the behavior that they show. They want to deflect off that, and they want to somehow make you look at them as, oh well, they have to deal with this stuff, and we're not the only ones that's being treated unfairly. And they like to say, oh, white people were slaves too. They like to say that the Holocaust was the most atrocious act of terrorism, and we all know that none of those things are true. But I don't really get their need to be victims, so much so that they will do bodily harm to themselves in order to hold that victim status, whether they want to show that they have a physical disability or a mental disability, or that you're fat shaming them, or there's so many different ways of victimizing themselves that is going on in the white community. And when I came across this story, I found it just sick and just atrocious. And but I think it really goes into it just works into play with their psychopath pathology, and their just complete just lack of common decency. So I'm gonna share this story with you. It's really unbelievable that they will stoop to this level in order to be considered a victim, and to be pitied, and to be looked upon in sorrow. And that's what this lady here is doing. So let me play this for you.
Purpose, but I don't feel it was a choice. For most people, going blind would be a nightmare. But for Jewel Shooping, it was the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. She suffers from a rare condition called body integrity identity disorder, which...
And let me just say, that is, as far as I know, that is not a true diagnosis that is recognized in America. I'm not sure if it's in I can't remember what that book is called. It's like the D5 something, but it's not. But whenever they do something, they want to turn it into a medical condition, therefore making it legal and not punishable by law. This is the same thing that is being pushed with pedophilia right now. They're really trying to do what they can to get that to be under some kind of psychological a disability so that, you know, they can continue to violate and terrorize children and not be criminalized for it. That is white supremacist terrorism one-on-one. They want to get away with all of their evil behavior, and it's sick and it's disgusting, but they control what is listed as a crime and what is listed as a medical issue. She clearly has some kind of medical issue, because I don't know of anyone that would purposely take away their own eyesight. So when I was looking this up again to bring it to you guys, because I actually watched it on a different show, but there's a lot of other stories of some horrific things that these evil albinoids have done with bleach. Because I actually typed in woman makes her put bleach in her eyes to become blind, and some other stuff came up that was just really bad. So again, it's their pathology. I'm going to play this because it's the screen that it's on is making me very nauseous. I want to vomit at the looks of her. So
led her to deliberately take her own side. When there's nobody around you that feels the same way, you start to think that you're just very crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. I think I have a disorder. BIID means that you have a need to be disabled in some way. In my case, it was a need to go blind.
She had the need to be looked at as a victim, and she needed to have sympathy, and it's just sick.
9 years ago, Jewel took the drastic decision to blind herself, and she researched the method she would use. I found that lye is very painful, although it does get the job done. I found that drain cleaner is little less painful, although it does a lot of damage to the eye. Because drain cleaner was easily available to me, I went with that. She found a psychologist willing to help her, and after 2 weeks of working together to make sure she was ready, they carried out Jewel's plan.
And let me just talk about this for a second. On the other video that I watched this on, which was the Dr. Phil show, Dr. Phil contacted the psychiatrist that she listed, and this psychiatrist said that they have never heard of her. They have not and would not have assisted her in such a psychopathic activity, and so this right here is being recorded by British TV, so they're not even in the States. But I will look up the link to the Dr. Phil show that I previously watched this story on. So if you want to watch that one, because I haven't watched this one, and that's why I want to show it, because it's only 6 minutes, and I think you can get more knowledge of what her mindset was, and why someone would do something like this. And again, we constantly hear these white supremacists making victims out of themselves. They need to feel like they're a victim, and I think partially it is to justify their white supremacist and hateful behavior. Because if they say, well, you know, I'm a victim too, and I have to deal with it too, then they feel some way that they don't have to be held accountable for their actions, because it's like, okay, well, it evens out, you know, everybody has to deal with something, even though they are the perpetrators of all the evil and all the hate and all the violence. It is all traced back to the evil albinoid. So that whole victim mindset is it's interesting in a way that you always hear white supremacists saying, oh, you know, black people just need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and you know, black people aren't victims, you guys weren't slaves, and stuff like that. So they always want to belittle our struggles and the stuff that we go through. And yet on the flip side of that coin, their need to prove that they somehow are victims. And clearly they will go to all means in order to be looked at as a victim. This is an extreme thing to me, but there has been instances where, you know, a albinoid male cut his leg off because, you know, he wanted to be crippled, and it's this whole, I want everyone to look at me. It's a look at me, sympathize with me and feel sorry for me. I'm such a victim, even though I'm really the predator. You know, I'm the predator. I'm the evil one. I'm the violent one. But I want you to see me as some poor victim.
I laid down on the sofa and he sat next to me, 2 drops into each eye. My eyes were screaming. I had some drain cleaner going down my cheek, burning my skin. In the moment, all I could think of was, I'm going blind, it's going to be okay. After waiting half an hour to make sure the damage was done, the psychologist took Jewel to hospital, where doctors fought to save her sight. When I woke up the following day, I was joyful until I turned on my back, opened my eyes, and could see the TV screen. I was so enraged, and I thought that it hadn't worked. Then over about 6 months, the sight in both eyes slowly went away. I was so happy. I felt that this was who I was supposed to be. While Jewel was happy, her actions cost her her relationship with her family. But this was something she'd been building up to throughout her life. I first developed the idea that I need to be blind when I was around 6 years old. I was told by my mother that if I looked into the sun, I'd go blind, and so I stared into the sun for hours on end. Thinking about being blind made me feel comfortable.
Okay, clearly she's lying, because there is no way that your body would allow you to lay in the sun, looking up at the sun for hours on end. It's not possible. Your eyes are going to close themselves. So she wants to say, oh, you know, it's just this mental illness that went, you know, so far back since I was 6. And truly, it's just not true. Truly, these white supremacist albinoid devils just need to be victims, even to the point where that they don't need to be honest to you. There's no honesty behind it. It's sick and it's perverted and it's disgusting.
Well, I was blind simming, which is pretending to be blind. Becoming blind was definitely a difficult decision to make. I tried to avoid it, but it kept coming up in my head. And by the time I was 21, it was a nonstop alarm that was going off.
As extreme as Jewel's case sounds, she is not alone. Dr. Michael First is a leading...
But let me just state another thing. Now she does not have to have a job. She gets to sit on government assistance because she's now disabled. So we really need to look at the reasons behind actions like this. Okay, because now she's a victim. Now she doesn't have to work. She doesn't have to worry about anything. She gets to sit down and soak up government benefits like she wanted to in the first place, and like majority of white America is doing, because they're the the biggest welfare recipients. They're on the most disability, the most food stamps, the most cash benefits. It's white America. And I'm not just saying that. There's you can look up the data. It's right there. It's pretty clear that these are the recipients. And so if she wants to act like that didn't increase her you know, her want to do this, then that's just silly to believe.
Leading expert on the condition, he even coined the term BIID to describe it.
A lot of people who have this just live with it, but they don't take that step of actually actualizing it. But a significant minority of people with this have the feeling so strongly that they will go and do something to make it happen. Our job is to reduce suffering however it's possible. The question is, what can be done? People have tried therapy, they've tried medication. None of those have really been successful. The ethics of whether it is okay to take a normal person and make them disabled is, I think you can make it an ethical case that if you conceptualize this as treating a condition, then it's okay to do it. The big fear, of course, is somebody goes ahead and gets an amputation and becomes disabled and then changes their mind. I like to encourage people to do what makes sense to make them feel better, but this is such a drastic move that it's hard to encourage.
Initially apprehensive, Jewel has now told her friends in the blind community about how she took her own sight.
I told her that I didn't care, that I think there's no resentment for her voluntarily taking her eyesight. That's not who I am.
I just don't think I've ever known anyone who had that condition. I think there's a lot understood in the medical community, but I'm sure that by what happened to you, it will be helpful to somebody else.
Hey, Joel. How's it going?
Oh, hi, Al. Does this affect our friendship at all?
No, actually, I want to thank you for sharing it with me. I think it's a really inspiring story, actually, because you've overcome a lot here. You're a very positive person. You contribute a lot to the blind community, and I think that's a great thing.
Now, Jewel hopes her story.
Now she's getting the praise that she wanted. She's getting the sympathy, the oh, poor her. She's getting all of that she wanted. She gets to be the victim. She gets to live off the government. She doesn't have any consequences negatively for her actions. She's getting exactly what she wanted.
Story will help other people in her position and lead to a wider understanding of BIID.
These days, I have no regrets. I'm very happy as a blind person. If somebody's out there with the same feelings as I have, I would say don't go blind the way I did. I know there's a need, but perhaps someday there'll be treatment for it. And just wait for that treatment if you can. If you feel that you have to, at least talk to a psychiatrist. Try to get somebody who knows what they're doing to help you. Don't do it for yourself because it's dangerous. That's why I'm getting my story out there to help people understand BIID and what it is and what is not.
Okay, so let's get on this.